What's up, big brother, brothers, and sisters? It is Deluxe Dave here, and we are about to get into all things Big Brother from week 5. Ooh, that's how I feel about it. Ooh, it just make me want to, because it's getting so good. Like, Big Brother does that to me. I just get real excited about this Big Brother season. I mean, it's getting to the point where I don't even know what to do with any of my excitement anymore. So let us jump right into Sunday because I'm not here to play no games with y'all today. I am here to get down to business. Let's talk about Sunday. Everybody's up on the wall. We left off the episode with people like hanging, and then, the wall bends forward and people might fall off. And of course, like I said, Derek F was the first person to fall off the wall. The sound effects, when I tell you I was busting a gut, I was busting a gut when Derek F fell off the wall because them sound effects are not right. Y'all producers are not right. Y'all just keep on getting up there and making these funny sounds with people falling off, knowing he was going to be the first one off the wall. It wasn't nothing big to me. If you want to see, I'm not going to go into all of, who fell off in what order because it really doesn't make a difference, but it's worth watching so you can kind of see the plan. One thing I did notice about that was right after Sarah Beth fell off, not soon after, unless it was edited weird, Hannah fell off right after that. She's trying to stick around. As long as Sarah Beth was up there, Hannah was staying on that wall. She's being smart. Even though I don't feel like Hannah was covered, she was really, really under the radar. Like all these 3 episodes, we hardly heard from Hannah, which I think was great. She fell back under the radar. She was up on that block. I know she didn't like being there. So I'm glad that she kind of fell back this week and didn't do anything real crazy or anything like that. I really didn't get much from Hannah this week, so I'm not going to talk about her a whole bunch. But Hannah was smart from that move that I saw. That's the one smart thing I think that she did this week. Like, make sure you up there because Sarah Beth is coming for you. And she still don't forget. So she's coming for you. So anyway, Xavier is sitting up there on the wall, and I think all these clocks are ticking because Xavier's up there, and at a certain point in time, it comes down to Xavier, Alyssa, and Derek X. And right now, Xavier's in a pretty good position. He knows he's not going anywhere. He has the cookout. He also has the royal flush. He's good. He can stay up on that wall, but he's kind of concerned. And it seems like even though they have changed the rules of the game right now and it's every man for themselves, it seems like Xavier's trying to keep all of his eggs in one basket. Like, he wants to just be like, okay, I want to keep the kings over here. I'm not the kings, but I want to keep the royal flush over here, and I want to keep my cookout over here, and I just want to make sure that I have some backup on both ends. Which, okay, that's good game, but at a certain point in time, you have to start playing for yourself too, and not worrying about everybody else. Which it came down to the nitty gritty with this. So Xavier decides he knows he's not going to win, and he basically is like, okay, do I have safety for this week? Are you going to make sure I'm safe? Me and Alyssa. And, he made bets and then fell off the wall. There was nothing that was set up on that wall about Christian before. If you go and play that back, it was not saving no kings. It was saving himself and making sure that Alyssa Alyssa made the deal separately. I don't even think Xavier really made a deal about Alyssa. It was just for himself. And he fell off that wall. He cares about himself, which is an individual game. So that's what you did. Don't try to change it up once it's all said and done. So then finally Alyssa makes a deal with Derek X also that, okay, as long as you save me, am I good? Am I good? Am I good? Nothing about Christian. Again, Alyssa's watching out for her own game. She doesn't have time to be worrying about other people. She falls off the wall. Then everybody comes up and hugs, Derek X and everything. And then Xavier tries to make this side deal talking about, oh, you're going to keep the kings safe also, right? Who said anything about keeping the king safe? Nobody. So that is nothing that Derek X has to worry about. So I don't know what Xavier thought this was. Like Derek X said, is this like a free-for-all? This is not just a store or Burger King. You can't have it your way and just do whatever you want right after you fall off of the wall. No, it doesn't work like that. So that was nowhere in the deal. So if that comes back up, I'm saying this very hopefully and wishfully, if Derek X makes it towards the end, I say that very lightly right now, he can really explain that out because he really didn't make that deal. He did not make the deal to save the Kings. And at a certain point in time, the Kings had to disperse. We're in week 5. disperse. It has to go. So after it's all said and done, we get done with the wall and Hannah jumps right on it. She gets inside Derek X's ear. She kind of sets up some things just to make sure that they're on that's the same page. Play your game well, but she wants to make sure she inserts some things about Sarah Beth in his ear, make sure it's there. So she did do a little bit more in this episode than I thought. She was actually up there like, okay, yeah, Sarah Beth, you need to make sure you watch out for her. She said what she had to say and then disperse. That's what you do in Big Brother. You leave little nuggets, disperse. Leave little nuggets, disperse. And that's what she did. And I feel like Hannah did her job with that because then Derek X starts to think about stuff. So basically now Hannah's inserted that and Tiffany comes in and sits down with Hannah, Derek X, and it's Tiffany. And I hate to see when it happens, but Tiffany, girl, she mentions the royal flush in front of Hannah, even though I'm glad Hannah's got more information that she can use in the future for some, she has some back information that she can use. But that was a really rookie mistake. Like Tiffany mentioning it in front of her, she felt so comfortable around Hannah that she blurted out about the royal flush. Hannah's like, what is the royal flush? And so she starts feeling some type of way because Derek X didn't tell her about it and Tiffany didn't tell her about it. And these are her closest allies in the house. Now, Hannah, okay, you could be mad at Tiffany, but you can't really be mad at Derek X because you still didn't let him know that you're in a whole cookout. And I know, I think, it's like supposed to be like it's a black group, but I think it should be minority group too. And Derek X could be on it too. But unfortunately, you didn't tell him about that either. So you really can't be mad at Derek X. But with Tiffany, yeah. Tiffany, I guess she didn't want to mess up her game either. And she was still trying to figure out if she trusted Hannah. I don't know how that's all going to play out over the next few weeks, but all I know is, Tiffany, you made a huge mistake with that. We go on now, and Sarah Beth is now talking to Derek X about maybe possibly being up on the block. Now, this has come after a conversation that Xavier has, and I feel like Xavier wants too much in the game right now. Like I said, he wants this cookout. He wants the royal flush. He wants everybody safe. It's like, you're putting me in a very tough position. So Sarah Beth is like put up on the spot. And basically now Sarah Beth is made to believe that she might be going up on the block. And she's saying, I really don't want to go up. If I do, I'm really not going to like that. But he's like exhausted all his options. Derek X has been like, I talked to some of the jokers. None of them want to go up. I really don't want to put Brittany up again. So it's like he's trying to get this thing and like nobody is budging. So he has to make a very tough decision and ends up at the end of it. And I call like Derek X, he's like an unofficial, or like I call him an unofficial cookout member. So I feel like he's a little bit on the cookout without even knowing it because he's kind of helping them along with their thing. Do you notice how many other people are going out of the house besides the cookout? And it's very interesting to see because he's helping them in the long run. So eventually he ends up putting up Sarah Beth, even though she didn't want to be. You got to choose somebody. And at a certain point in time, things are going to have to turn, which sets everybody in the house off. And then he puts up Brittany again. Can you believe this? I think this is like, is this like the third or fourth time Brittany has been on the block? I believe she has been on the block almost every freaking time. So, I just got to roll right to Wednesday's episode because this sends Brittany into like extreme, she's distraught. Like at this point, I feel like they're just messing with Brittany to like bring her down. They're trying to like break that girl down emotionally and trying to do everything they can to make sure she knows she's going to remain the pawn for the rest of the game of Big Brother, unless she actually pulls it out and wins this. But I was like, dang, y'all put this girl up again. I know she felt horrible. I think this might be the third time she was up. Maybe not the fourth, but the third. And I'm just sitting up here like, girl, you are really up here every week doing this. And the thing about it is I understand y'all are trying to like mix it up. And I understood Derek X's reason for doing that because he really wants to get Christian out of the game. We did learn that on the last episode that was what was turning in his head, that he wanted to backdoor Christian. That is the purpose of this whole week. That is Derek X's whole plight. He wants to backdoor Christian. And that's what he basically lets some people know. He doesn't let everybody. I think he let Hannah know. He might have let one more person know, but he was keeping it on the low, which I like. Now, I really started not liking Xavier in this episode. This Wednesday episode was like, Xavier, who are you playing for? You're still playing for, you're thinking too far ahead. Now, at a certain point in time, the Kings had to be dispersed. Now, Julie tried to give you a little boot right there and tell you right there, like, every man for himself, there are no longer teams. He's still trying to keep the teams intact. Boy, you can't do that. You got to start worrying about your own game. Now you might need to fall a little bit more on the side of Cookout and a little bit less on the Royal Flush. It's too big of a group anyway, so you need to start making connections. I think he is doing too many groups. Xavier is doing way too many groups, and he needs to start making connections with people that are in the Big Brother house. He needs to have one-on-one connections. It needs to be one, and or two or three, a triple, something. It has to be something in here that he actually starts to form his own group besides these side groups that are too large. Even the Cookout is too large, and I've said that time and time again. So he started kind of getting on my nerves in this one, and basically Derek X reveals to Sarah Beth that now he is targeting Christian. And I was nervous about that at first, but then after I saw Sarah Beth's reaction, and I was like, okay, now Sarah Beth is kind of like, I'm trying to stay in this game by whatever means necessary. And if that means taking out a big person that I could have to worry about down the line, go ahead and do it. And she does not let anyone in on the notion of what is going on. And I got to give it to Sarah Beth on this one, even though I don't mess with Sarah Beth. I'm kind of rooting for her, but kind of not. But we'll see in the long run if she gets on my nerves again. Right now, she's been kind of cool this week, and I like the fact that she kind of kept that on the hush-hush, that, you know, I'm trying to stay in this game, get Christian out. Smart game move. I love what she did there. So, finally, after Derek X's plan, you know, was put into place, they all have to choose for the veto. And the veto came down to Derek X choosing Alyssa, Sarah Beth choosing Claire, and Brittany choosing Kylan, which was a perfect setup for Derek X's backdoor. Everything was running very, very great. They did this 80s theme workout thing, which it was really, really fun to watch because, I mean, this whole thing, the best part of this all was that everybody had to put in their own work. It wasn't anything like mentally. It was a physical challenge, but it wasn't really mental. It was just, you got in there, work till your legs hurt, work till your arms hurt. You got to do what you got to do. Work till your neck hurt. It had to do all with that. So there is this, they always have a game like this in Big Brother to where they set up the first place winner, the second place winner, the third place winner, and so on, so on, so on. And whoever gets that prize can either keep it, or the next person that wins has to either trade that out or give it back. The thing that really dumbfounded me on these decisions on this tried, they had one, I'm going to mention some of the main prizes. There was a $5,000 prize. There was the veto, which that gets you off the block, and Sarah Beth is on the block. And there was also, I think, like a call from a friend, like a family member or something like that, that came up later on. So the thing that really befuddled me, I'm saying that like every week now, I think that's like my new word. The thing that befuddled me the most about what Sarah Beth did, she chose over the veto that Claire had chosen. Sarah Beth goes ahead and she chooses to take the $5,000 and keep it. What are you doing, Sarah Beth? You are on the block. That is putting a huge target on your back, regardless if you wanted the money or not. You are that comfortable and that safe with going ahead and telling somebody that, okay, I'm going to take this $5,000 and I'm not even worried about being on the block. You got Alyssa over here busting her butt for you. You got Kylan over here busting his butt for you and trying to get you off the block. And you're going to go up there and choose to take the $5,000 and keep it instead of taking the veto from Claire. That was a ballsy move from Sarah Beth. That's all I have to say. That really pissed me off because I'm like, you got all these people working in your corner and trying to get you off the block, yet you go up here and you're getting greedy and taking the $5,000. That shows that you really were too comfortable, and they should have woke her up on that real quick and not budged. But, you know, Sarah Beth, that really, really pissed me off. But Kylan was a sweetheart, and he took the veto and let Sarah Beth keep the $5,000. But then later on in the game, Derek X is the third out, and he gets a crappy, like some crappy prize or something like that. It's some I don't even remember what other thing he had picked out. He ended up getting the worst one, but he picked something else out. I think it was like something around the house or something like that. A jacket. Yeah, the jackhole of the house or something. He had to wear like a costume, a donkey costume, like the jackass or something. And he goes and he's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and take the 5,000, and then backs up and takes it back and tells Sarah Beth, and Sarah Beth starts crying like, oh, please, please don't take my 5,000. Oh, please, please. This fool went up there and said, okay, I'll take the veto. No, Big Brother is not about having a heart. It's about winning. And the $5,000 would have been a perfect addition to your wonderful HOH reign, but you chose to be nice. I ain't got time for nice in Big Brother. We are playing a game. Man, I'm telling you, if I was ever in this house, the things that I would do, I don't know if people would like me or hate me, but I am playing my game. I'm not here to fool around with y'all and be nice. You know, I know it probably gets mixed up because you become friends with these people. It's a whole different flow on things, and you're kind of like in the middle of things. But at the end of the day, this is a game. You're trying to win $750,000. I don't have time for your feelings. That's what I feel. That's it. So anyhow, he ends up taking the veto, and then I believe Brittany does some crazy wacky thing with this game where you're doing it was like she looked possessed. First of all, it was like some crazy conniption that she had on that machine where she was trying to get in a certain number of clicks, but she really wanted to win. And I was like, if Brittany don't win this, I don't know what else she can do. So I was very, although, she's been through so much, that was the anger from all of them weeks of being on the block that she was letting out. And she's letting those house guests know she is not here to play. And I told y'all that in the very, very beginning, even though she might cry a lot and be very emotional. In the very beginning, when she came in with them jogging pants on the first day instead of a cute dress like all the other girls had on, I knew Brittany was about to be about her business, and she proved to them, and now she is a threat in the house. She is. I'm so happy for you, Brittany, that you have graduated to being a threat in the house now. That made me so excited to see her win. Alyssa was so mad, and Brittany took the veto, and Alyssa kept the one where you can call home or do something like that, and she might need that next week because of what happened we're about to talk about that in the eviction vote, so she might need that call home. So hands down, happy for Brittany. But also, I was happy that Derek X had to sit up here and get the worst punishment in the house because he deserved it. You should have never given up that $5,000. So he was the Lord of the latrine. He had to blow the horn for 24 hours straight. Anytime anybody needs to use the restroom, he had to, blow that horn every single time. So this next part of episode on Wednesday made me so upset, because this had to be the dumbest move I've seen thus far on this season. I don't know about, yes, this was the dumbest backdoor ever. I will say that. The dumbest backdoor ever in probably the history of Big Brother. He goes and tells Alyssa that he's thinking about putting Christian up on the block. Of all the things I've seen, I thought that freaking Frenchie was bad. This was a horrible move on Derek X's part. This put a huge target on his back. A backdoor is not a backdoor if you go and tell somebody you're going backdoor before you backdoor them. That's period. So I don't even know what he was thinking by going up and telling Alyssa about this. So then the news starts to travel through the house. Xavier inserts himself in. They start trying to convince him that Christian is not the best. It's not the best idea to put Christian up on the block, and And then Alyssa goes back and tells Christian what's going on. Christian gets really pissed off, really red. Then you see Christian's true colors come out. I told you it was in there. Y'all think he's some little sweet little Justin Timberlake. That boy, he got a little temper, and we started to see that come out. Of course, he's mad. He's coming off the block. He got pissed, and he's like, I got to do damage control now. He went and got Derek X, pulled him to the side, and was like, this is not your best move. I'm looking out for your best interest. I'm not going to get you out of here. You're going to stay in this game longer if I'm here, and And it seems like Derek X is hearing him and listening and everything like that. But, we ended on a cliffhanger, and at the end of the day, guess what? Derek X puts up Christian on the block, and I was so happy and so excited that he actually went up there and did that, because I was like, this was the best move that you could have ever done. I don't know about for his game, but it was a good move for the rest of the house. Derek X, you might have just helped everybody else to get the $750,000, but somebody had to do it eventually. Christian was too much of a threat. He needed to go. He needed to be off of everyone's radar. We needed to split up that showmance. Now there are still little small showmances going on, but that was a huge one. Alyssa and Christian would have taken this to the end if you let them. That's why Alyssa was so upset when Derek X let him know that information, because this blows her whole game. Like, she had put so much stock in Christian staying around for this whole game, and just to see it blow up in her face like this, and on Thursday's episode, we find out Christian is on the block. And so basically now, Christian is really still trying to get off this, let everybody outvote him. Basically get to the point where Christian he won't go home and Sarah Beth will. So it was it's kind of hard to do that, but he was trying his best. He even kept calling. This part made me so mad. He kept calling on, Derek X to come to the bathroom for the Lord of the Latrine thing. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to pee, go pee. Don't come over here with all that foolishness right now and trying to gang up on me and trying to get me to change my mind. I want to get you out of here. That's how it's going down. So all of that extra that you're trying to do, stay out of my face with that. But Derek X is nice. He's calm. He's trying to keep the peace and trying to hear him out. But all in all, when you're on that block and you're that big of a target, it's very hard to get out of, out of that mess that you're in. So eventually we get to this crazy part in the show where the cookout begins to fall apart. And I got to talk about this real quick, because the cookout was supposed to be very, very strong, but I can see the cracks in it right now. Tiffany came on very, very strong, I understand, and that started to rub Derek F the wrong way. Now, the thing I did not like was the way that Derek F handled this stuff on, the confessionals. Out of order, wrong. Some of the things they caught him saying on camera, when Tiffany sees that, she probably won't want to mess with you outside of the house. And I mean, it just looks bad for, the cookout. It looks bad for us as Black, it just looks bad. And I just think that they're just out here showing him cutting up. Like, even if she gets on your nerves that bad, that's really disrespectful, the way that he went about talking about her. I don't know if they made up in the house or whatever, but from what I was seeing and what they showed, and maybe it was just for the dramatics of the show, or the producers kind of hyped it up so it could be that, and they let them know about that. That's what I kind of think sometimes, that the producers want good ratings, so they kind of hype it up. But for me, that was a no-no. I wouldn't even do it if I was asked to. That was disrespectful, and I did not like that. That made me, Derek F went from here to here for me. Like, not down here, but he's right about halfway for me, because that was, I'm sorry, regardless of if she's pissing you off or not, I thought that was out of order, out of line. Did not like that. Derek F, you lost some cool points for me. Like, I know cool points are probably still not around, but for me, that was a no. Anyway, Tiffany wants to talk to Brittany on the side, because she's trying to get something together to where they can possibly get Christian to stick around. Because there's this whole conversation that Claire and Tiffany have, and they've come to this agreement that maybe it might be in my best interest to keep Christian, around for a little bit longer. So she's trying to get Brittany in on the game, and now Derek F is pissed off already. So he's like, no, we all gonna go up there. We all gonna go up there and talk. Him, Asa, and all of them went up there with Brittany, and then it kind of gets a little tense between Brittany and Derek F. She's like, well, I don't want to talk about it no more anyway, so bye. And she's never let in on what, Tiffany actually wanted to talk to her about, because they want to gang up. And I'm like, y'all are still operating like the jokers. This is what people are making this mistake. I think Big Brother knew what they were doing when they put people together in groups like that, because now you put people together in groups, y'all form a bond with the group, and then it's very hard to break the ties of the groups that you have formed. So it's very hard for them to break apart. Xavier's having trouble with that. I think Derek F is having trouble with that. Asa's having trouble with that. Play for yourselves right now, you guys. It's time to buckle down and play for yourselves. Tiffany is already focused on herself. She already got a side thing with Hannah too on top of that. So she's covered. But what are y'all doing? Let's think about that, and we'll come back to y'all next week. But anyway, I don't understand the madness between Derek F and Tiffany. They seem to be sitting together at the eviction time, and maybe they made up, or maybe they talked it out. I don't really watch a lot of the live feeds and stuff like that, but hopefully they were able to make amends, and we'll see what happens this upcoming week. I hope he's able to calm himself down and they ain't trying to get Tiffany out of there, because I think Tiffany's a very, very great strategic player. So at the end of the day, the vote happened. Christian got voted out 7 to Sarah Beth's 2. So 2 people voted for Sarah Beth, but Christian is out of there. I was so happy, so thankful. I was glad that they got rid of Christian because now it kind of opens up the game some more, let some more people play. It's going to be a very interesting week next week, what we see in the Big Brother house. They're also adding a new room called the High Rollers room. I made sure I went and voted. And yes, I did vote for Hannah. I'm rooting for Hannah. I should have voted a little bit for Tiffany too, but I voted for Hannah because I feel like Hannah's playing a good game to me. Tiffany is too. Those two are on my radar right now. I'm rooting for either one of them to be in the top two or maybe take it all. Maybe. We'll see. Make sure y'all are watching Big Brother. I cannot wait to come back and talk about this next week that's coming up too, because I'm sure it's going to be some rumblings now that we got Christian out the house and Alyssa. There's going to be some tension and there's going to be some lines that are about to be crossed. And I just can't wait. It's getting down to jury time now. So this is when I'm marking this spot as when Big Brother actually begins. This is when the fight starts. When the jury starts coming up, we fighting now. It's time to go. So I'm excited. Make sure y'all watching Big Brother. Make sure y'all catching me back here next Monday so I can give you all of the extra on week 6. And then on top of that, make sure y'all are subscribing and bringing people over to the channel. Y'all are letting me know everything I'm doing right or wrong, what y'all want to see me talk about here on Big Brother Review. Just let me know. Make sure y'all subscribe. Love seeing y'all here. I'll see y'all next week. Bye, Joey.